Come on in and welcome back to a next video. The Asus Rog Ally is right here in front of me, and Manor Lords has just dropped for early access. It may sound incomplete, but it's far from it. The game is beautiful, and the level of detail what has went into this game so far, Manor Lords is full of potential. Before we jump into it, what is Manor Lords? Manor Lords is a medieval city builder with a real-time strategy. Your village is a living settlement. Your villagers will require food, tools and firewood and other resources, which you can produce yourself, or you could get into trading with other settlements for currency and resources. Manor Lords is really more than a city builder. Villagers will starve to death. If you do not provide enough firewood, they will freeze in the streets. Talking about winter, this is where I last left off. Say winter really does come, it's like Game of Thrones winter here. But yeah, what I'm really saying is, the game really does take every single piece of detail seriously. So when I say winter is coming, it is a huge struggle. Crops die. So you really got to strategize when you're harvesting your crops. You really got to strategize around winter and probably try to gather your crops or harvest your crops just before the winter lands. What makes this game different from other games I played, such as Anno 1800 and the Age of Empires? Manor Lords gives you the ability to go down to street level. And this is what I thought was pretty genius. The ability to go down onto street level and live amongst your villagers. What I really do like about this, as we're in early access, so much can be done with this. You could have a little role-playing part into this. It'll be good to communicate with your villagers. Imagine coming down to visit how your town's doing and you got some upset villagers or really happy villagers and letting you know how your day's going or what they need to be done in person. Instead of reading it on the text side saying your villagers are hungry, the whole swarm of villagers being hungry and mad at you when you come to visit. As I said before, it's a real-time game. As I got it playing by itself now, things are being done. Crops are being harvested, trades are going on. You can fast forward the real time as well. You can bring up to 4 times the speed or 12 times the speed to get things done. There are also war battles on the horizon. You could build armies or grow armies depending on your resources and your materials. Speed it up now. Get myself out of the winter period. A family is cold. So when your family is cold, you really need to work on harvesting firewood. You could add more villagers to certain plots to increase the work rate of what resources you need. You've got to make sure you look after your citizens, because citizens can also rebel. These rebellions will really slow down your progress in the game. You'll lose workers. A lot of people start going hungry. It's a very slow pace city building game, but not in a bad way. This is when the true strategizing comes in. For preparing for your winter, keeping villagers protected and healthy. On the Rog Ally, it seems to work flawlessly from the jump. But I had to tweak on a few buttons. Let me show you what I meant. So if I get to settings, I'm so used to pressing up and down. I'm pressing it now, but it's fully mouse controlled. Get to settings and show you what I've got it on. In controls, I had to change the key bindings. I had to change up, down, left, right, rotate the camera left and right. Every other setting kind of worked by default, like the zoom in button. To zoom in is RB. To zoom out is LB. To move the camera forward and left and right will be the D-pad. To rotate the map will be the analog stick. So rotate left and to rotate right. B would be like escape, so I could pause and save. Let's take a look at the graphic settings. So in the graphic settings, I did have it set at full screen. But as it's on early access, I'm not sure if I got to keep doing it. Right, it's on full screen, resolution 1080p, FSR quality is on balance, no VSync. The reason being AMD had a huge update and updated the FPS to fluid FPS. So to use fluid FPS, you got to keep the VSync off. So going down, I got the frames per second unlimited and everything else is set to high to ultra. The video graphics have been working flawlessly. It looks beautiful. Well, because it's winter, you can't really see much. I've been skipping time, so we're slowly coming out of winter. Hopefully my crops didn't die. Right now I'm going through hunger. I've got at least 28 homes going through hunger. So let me slow the time down, because when you speed things up, you can really miss out on a lot. So something might have happened where my food harvest has been blocked, but we all know that my food harvest has been blocked due to the weather. Because it's cold, not enough supplies, and I got 31 hungry. So this is what I'm saying. Once we go through winter, it's a huge struggle. Like, your crops die. It's hard to gather because the animals have gone in because it's so cold. This game has really took it to detail. I really do love the seasons in the game. It makes a difference. Truthfully speaking, I am playing settlers mode. I play the modes where there is no war. I want to take it easy. I want to get used to the mechanics of how to build. I wanted to play through the mechanics, how to keep my people from starving, what's the best way, what kind of resources I needed. When I first did start to play, I played it on the part where you get war or you have bandits. And every time I was trying to do things, I had bandits running in, stealing. It was a bit of a lot. So I thought, let me take my time and get used to the mechanic of the game. And as I get used to it, it is beautiful. And I did get used to it. So I started a new game, not realizing you can only have one save file. But it's all right. I ended up starting again. And it's been going well, because every time I started again, I got better at the game, learned something new, and didn't make the same mistakes. The region name is hunger. Look, we're struggling. We're going through hunger at the moment. That will drop as soon as I kick in. Let me see if I can force harvest. Let me see how my harvest is going. It's already set on force harvest. There we go. We got force harvest happening now. Get all my crops going. Let me slow it down, so I can get my crops back in. I love the feature where you can zoom right in, see what your villagers are doing. Such an excellent mechanic. So force harvest, get rid of the hunger. The hunger should start to drop down. Your market stalls, your food stalls, your clothing stalls. So this is where you set your marketplace to get a lot of your resources going. This will be my wheat field. I mainly do a lot of force harvesting. The hunger's going down, as you can see. This will be my barley field. And then I got 2 barley fields. That's a barley field. Here's the church. These are the homes. Oh, that's the farm. Right now, I need to have more people set on my farm. If I'm right, I think the more people you have, the quicker the food comes in. If I'm right, I'm not sure. I need to double check that. Got a lot of homes here. A stone cutter. And then we have a lodging camp for your firewood. So that's a smith. But if you bring it along here, this is where my mining's happening to create iron. Here's my bloomery. And if you keep zooming out, you can see the map. So this will be my territory. And here are all the other settlements you could be making trades with, or even be going to war with. So zoom back. The game is very detailed, very detailed. Graphics are beautiful, insanely beautiful. You actually feel like you are in the medieval time. I hope this video really does help you today and giving you a decent look to how the game is looking on the Rog Ally. And I'm very pleased with it. It actually works really well and it's working alright. It doesn't feel uncomfortable. The text is not hard to read or too small to read. I would say my struggle in the game right now, as you can see, is hunger. But other than that, I am enjoying it on the Rog Ally. But this is it for now. I wouldn't say this is my best settings or my ultra settings. I would have to play through the game a bit more to understand which settings work best. And as the game's still in early access, the game's only going to improve. As time goes on, the game will progress and will get better. So maybe by a couple of weeks, we'll have controller support. Graphics will get better. We'll most likely have more support for PC handheld. I haven't had no bugs. It's much better on keyboard and mouse. But it's not hard with controller. So once controller support is done, this is Manor Lords on the Rog Ally. Let me know what you think. Did you get the early access or are you gonna wait for a bit? How are you finding the city building game? Drop it in the comments. Let me know, what do you think? Have you tried it yet? Are you looking to get it? As time goes on, I will be back to show a better performance, better graphical settings as the game grows. Look after yourselves and have an excellent week. Peace.